Hello YouTube, HPZ here today, and I'm sick. And when I get sick, there's only one game that I actually do go back to and I play. This is like my medication. I load up Doom on whatever device I can find and I play it. Doom is one of those interesting things, really. One of the first things a programmer does after he's either discovered an exploit and wrote a hello world application to a device, the next logical step for him is to convert Doom to the device. If a device is already open, one of the first things that anyone actually tries to do to experiment with the language is to port Doom over to the system. This has been the case since 1994, since I can remember, and today I'm going to be focusing on Doom on portable devices. The reason for this is my favorite game. I like playing it. I like just wasting hours of my life just dooming away, enjoying blowing things up, seeing stuff disappear. And I always wanted to take it with me, and I couldn't in the 90s. The devices back then, as you'll see later on, the LCD screens just weren't capable of rendering graphics fast enough. You had ghosting on there. The other problem that you had with the LCDs is that they really sucked at drawing or having sharp image quality. You would have dots everywhere and it would suck. And I didn't have a laptop. Laptops were expensive, they weren't cheap. So later on they did release some ports for Doom on portable devices, and I could finally play it. Some of my fondest memories is playing Doom in high school in a class with Nokia Ngage hidden away behind my desk, playing Doom. One or two teachers did actually caught me every now and then with my Nokia Ngage and tried to confiscate the phone. Needless to say, many fights were hard, and then they never did. So to test all of these devices out, I'm going to do something simple. Kill both guys, get the chainsaw, kill both guys, turn around. Up the lift, hit the switch. Now this is very important. I need to be able to run, get the secret passage, get the rocket launcher. Man, the controls on this is terrible. Blow up the guy in a secret room. Open the secret. Have a walk outside. See how the graphics looks here. And finally end the game. By going to the next level. Now, what's my thoughts on Doom on Android? There are more ports that I could count, and today I'm only interested in all of the free ports. I don't care about the paid for ports. Doom is open source. You're supposed to do this for free if you do port it. You're not allowed to charge money. Come on, quit. You're not allowed to charge money, so I won't be reviewing any of the paid for ports. Come on. I'll be honest, it's terrible on a touchscreen. Especially if you can't quit, nonetheless. That's it. It's terrible on a touchscreen. It doesn't play as well as it should. So I'm just going to try some of the other versions of Doom. There's Doom by Elec. That's actually a pretty good port of Doom, but unfortunately you can only run Doom 1 natively through it unless you mod it. There's the Doom that comes with Retroroarch. I tried running Retroroarch, and the version of Retroroarch for me has been by far the most unplayable from the lot. Let's go to load content automatically, Doom. I want to play Doom 2. You'll notice that I've got the frames per second rendered at the bottom there. It's just to demonstrate why I think this is by far the worst. Okay, first thing you notice, you fly around in Doom. And it crashes. Let's go in again. Sorry, excuse the sniffles. Like I said before, I'm sick today. Okay, let's try again. This is a different difficulty level, but maybe I can get this done quick enough. And it crashes. That's why I don't like the Doom version on Retroroarch. The one that I found that's playable at least is this one I was playing just now, which is just simply titled Doom. That, I'll be honest, it would be absolutely perfect if it wasn't for the terrible control scheme. It doesn't have a slide interface, so you have to like kind of rotate by pressing like that, making it really awkward to play. You've got these little icons at the bottom. So it's far from perfect, and I'm sure some of the older systems can actually play this better. So let's have a look at our next system. I'm going to go oldest to newest, or at least try to keep in that order. I've got quite a few systems to do, so bear with me. Let's say you were one of the lucky ones, and in the mid to late 90s you actually had a laptop, and this is what you were forced to endure when you wanted to play Doom on the go. And I'll be honest with you, it's not that great. You'll probably notice that you can hardly see anything. Don't worry, I can't see anything either. The motion blur is so bad that it looks like the walls are just one big fuzz. But at least you had the MIDI music and the sound was perfect. Still not a bad attempt. It is proper Doom running on the real hardware. I think this laptop actually got released in 97 or 98. But yeah, this just basically gives you a bit of an idea of what it would actually look like if you wanted to play Doom in 96 or 97. The LCD screens just weren't up for the job. Ooh, that's blurry. There it is. Not bad, but not great either. At least you can play Doom where you go. You can play Doom at the airport, for instance. You can see that it's very grainy. It's an infinite amount of motion blur. Regretfully, this was Doom. Running on actual hardware. Mind you, there were actually laptops out back then that had proper LCD screens that had much better picture quality, but most of the time you won't be able to afford one of those, and you won't spot them in the wild either. So on to the next system. This is the Nokia Ngage, probably the oldest handheld I could take with me to play Doom back in the day. Now this is the Ngage QD. I actually had the old style Nokia Ngage, the big one, that kind of was a bit better than this because you could actually overclock the unit to play Doom. Now, back in the day, okay, CDoom wasn't finished yet, it was in beta. The only one I could play is Edoom. You probably saw the icon there just now, and Edoom, unfortunately, is absolutely terrible. It has almost no sound, you have to rebind the keys manually, and it just doesn't function very well. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the viewing angle on the actual Ngage QD is more or less terrible. From my side, I can hardly see anything on the screen, but this isn't a problem as you normally would have the machine right in front of you. Still, the ability to play Doom on the go, that was epic. And especially one with music. Unfortunately, I can't see very well from my side due to the viewing angle. I hope the camera actually picks this up properly. As you can see, it does run Doom, and the best thing of all is it has music. Let's go straight from here. This going. Unfortunately, like I said before, I can hardly see anything at this angle. Switch. So let me quickly place that on there. Frame rate is good, everything else is absolutely perfect, I can't complain. But where are you? Oh, that's doorway. Come on, angle. Hope he's dead. Hit the secret. Here we go. I'll try and, maybe if this is too bad, I'll try and actually hold up the thing and show you some proper gameplay footage. There you go, got the shotgun, I had a stroll outside, frame rate didn't drop. The nice thing about the controls is that they do actually feel proper on the game, it's fully playable. There you go. There is one big problem with the QD version, unfortunately, and that is sometimes when you go to the next level, it'll just crash the game. Luckily, this time it didn't. But as you can see, it's fully playable. Nothing wrong with that. It works well. I should have used the viewfinder on the camera. On to our next one. This is the HP IPaq. It's basically a Windows Mobile 5 device, PDA. And to be honest, there are several versions of Doom out for this device. Unfortunately, the two that work, okay, is GFDoom, which is by far the best Doom out there. And the other one is, come on. And the other one is just entitled, what was it again? Doom PPC. Doom PPC runs alright, it runs full screen, but with this device it's so slow, you can hardly play the game with it. So let's go back to storage, GFDoom. works 100%. The problem is trying to find this version on the internet is close to impossible. Game Freak's closed their website down and it's no longer available from there. And just tracking it down is extremely difficult. But as you can see, this version is pretty playable. Like with most of the ports, it has no music. That kind of sucks, because of what made Doom good was that metal MIDI soundtrack. But nonetheless, this is very playable. The screen size is actually slightly bigger than the Ngage when you look at the playable size there. You can actually use the stylus as well to do things. Oh, missed it. And I'll say this version is actually a little bit better than the Ngage. Considering that the Ngage QD came out 2 years earlier, that shouldn't surprise you. Why are you not running? There we go. And I'll say this is actually fairly playable. It's not as playable with the controller or controls as the actual QD version, but that's decent. It looks good. It's very sharp visuals. The LCD screen is much better than what you had on the QD. It has a very narrow field of view. At this angle I can actually see it properly. Almost forgot the secret. And let's run down into the exit. Sadly, I didn't own a PDA back in the late 2000s, or mid to late 2000s. So I never got to play this version much. If I had a PDA back then, I think this would have probably been my favorite version of the game. It's good. Fully playable. There are official Doom versions for PDA as well, but I'm not going to be covering those. I'm only covering the actual ports, the game ports. But there you have it. On to the next system. This is Doom on a Nintendo DS. I have to stand up to block some of the light because unfortunately, because it's a black machine, the white balancing on my camera just freaks out. I also had to use a black background for it to know that everything is more or less black in the area, and I have to play this standing because if I don't, the glare kind of destroys the screen because it's so glossy. So I'll be playing this from the viewfinder. It's not that great, but let's see if I can do it. No, it's better to play it from the machine. As you can see, the visuals are pretty sharp, good quality. It's a little bit dark. Oh, I've got this on a different difficulty. Oh well. Doesn't change much. Let's see, run is that one. Oh. Let's change the difficulty. I've got the chainsaw, but you get the idea. It's a very, very good port of Doom. This is also PRBoom. It's my favorite PC port of Doom. As such, the gameplay is almost the exact same to the original. Everything is smooth. It's exactly the way you hope it to be. Hey. Nice and smooth. Everything works well. It's a little bit darker than what it should be. But other than that, nothing wrong with it. There's no music, of course. I have no idea why. If my Nokia Ngage can emulate the music, then surely this should be possible too. None. See, if I tilt it that way up, you get blinded. You just have to take my word for it. It is actually very, very good. It's a great port of Doom, this. Fully playable, if you can live without the music. And probably the cheapest way of doing it, actually. DS's are pretty damn cheap at the moment. You just need a flash card, stick the files on, and off you go. Very simple. And it plays well. On to the next system. And this is Doom for the PSP. And I'm sure most of you will probably think, okay, this is going to be the ultimate version of Doom. It has a 353 MHz processor. It can play all of the other systems perfectly fine. In fact, I can probably go out and emulate the PlayStation 1 version of Doom on the system and it'll be absolutely perfect. The problem being is the port is fairly terrible. As you can see, I am Superman. I run faster than light itself. There's another version for the PSP called PSP Legacy, which is the legacy port of Doom. It's okay, not great though. This is just Doom for PSP. It's version 1.4, the latest one. I've decreased my clock speed, done everything in my power to get it to run at the frame rate it should, but it's exactly double the speed. It's running at 60 frames a second, and Doom is a 30 frames per second game max. Let's run on this. This is pretty, there we go. I'm sorry, but this is way too fast for a Doom game. Especially on the analog stick, it just doesn't play the way it should. Which one there is open? There we go. I'm sorry, but it has to be as close to the original as possible, and this just isn't. I mean, some of the other ports on the machine, they're absolutely fantastic. It's just Doom isn't. it's terrible because of this running issue. If it wasn't for this Superman running, then I guess it would have been okay. But unfortunately, like this, I can't recommend it to anyone wanting to play Doom on the go. That's not right. My Ngage could play it better than this. Off to the last machine then. This is the Dingoo. It's the Dingoo A320 running Dingux custom Linux and a custom firmware. And for me, this is the best way to experience Doom on the go. I'll show you now. There's two ports once again for Doom. It's PRBoom and ZDoom. PRBoom for me is my favorite on the computer. Full music, it's all there. Sharp visuals, very sharp. Game is responsive, it's running at the correct speed. The only letdown for me is the D-pad. It's a little bit mushy. Hey, you don't. Yeah, you're good. This is by far the best Doom port for a mobile device I've played so far. The console is nice and small, it can fit in your pocket, you can take it anywhere. It has a good battery lifetime, sharp screen works under most light conditions. This is Doom the way it's supposed to be played on a handheld, really. It isn't any surprise that we're thinking anything else from this little thing. Its main purpose was homebrew, and as a result the community could stand behind it. Our community could stand behind it and actually deliver something that's pretty damn good. There you go. If you're looking for a system to play Doom on, get yourself a Dingoo A320. Just make sure that it's one of the systems that does actually support Linux that you can use. Make sure it's one of the ones that is in the supported list on the Linux forum so that you can install Dingux and you can have Doom as well. There are some other systems I'd just like to mention before I end this video. Namely, you do actually get a nice port of Doom to the iPod, and the only problem with that is I do have two iPods I can use to test with, but unfortunately when you do install it you need a custom firmware and a lot of things stop working as soon as you use it. All of the iPod features stop working, so you can't use it in any of the iPod docks or anything of the sort like that. So I'm not going to test that simply because I don't have the resources to do so. The other systems that does this is there's a lot of ports of Doom to cell phones. Most of those cell phones I don't have access to. There's a good port to BlackBerry. I don't have any BlackBerries. iPhones, I did own an iPhone a long time ago, but I sold it. Cell phones are one of those things where I believe that if you sell it quick enough after buying a new one, you can get about a third to a half of its value back instantly. So I never hang on to any of my cell phones. Those are also worth considering that they do actually exist. If I do find another spare iPod or a spare phone I can run Doom on, I'll just update the video or add another video demonstrating it. Okay, and that's all from me, HP Zeta. And if you like my videos, please comment and subscribe to them. If you like them a lot, please send a link to your friends. Post a link on the web forum. Tweet about them. That would mean the world to me, and that is all that I want. And I make these because it's fun for me to make. So enjoy your day, and that's all from me.